Choice of live viewing. Now there's Madrid tennis with Tim Henman against Taylor Dent due on court soon. That's on Sky Sports Extra. And of course, it's Monday Night Football with Charlton against Fulham, live from the Valley here on Sky Sports 1. They're two clubs finding success and failure near neighbours. For Charlton boss Alan Kirbishley, it's been fulfilling. For Fulham's Chris Coleman, it's been oh so frustrating.
It's still Bent, he scores. It's a super start to the new campaign.
What's a second chance? It's the crossbar. Fulham desperately unlucky. Murphy surely, and it was a wonderful team goal.
That was a great performance.
There's the header and a brilliant save.
We've got to combine our efforts and our performances with a win.
It's that man again. It's Darren Bent. Klaus Jensen has a goal. Oh, he's unlucky. Very unlucky. Bent. Oh, yes.
The Valley just 17 miles from Craven Cottage. The distance between these two sides in the Premiership much greater. Neither set of fans can quite believe how it's gone so far. For Fulham, disappointing. But challenge supporters so far, well, they've seen their team off to an absolute flyer. It's a London derby on Monday Night Football as Charlton take on Fulham live on Sky Sports. Yes, it's Charlton's centenary season, and what a party they've enjoyed so far. 5 wins in their first 7 games. Another victory this evening would send them back to second in the Premiership table. Fulham, though, are currently 10 points adrift of their neighbours, and an alarm bell or two could just be ringing. A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Valley. History tells us this will be close. They have 17 wins each against each other over the years, and another 16 games have ended in draws. Now, Alan Kirbishley must be delighted with the start his side has made to the season, but my guest this evening must be equally delighted with the start that his side has made to the season. It's the West Ham manager, Alan Pardew. Evening to you, Alan.
Evening, Jeff. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, but probably not as well as you with the way your side's been doing so far. Have they surprised you just a little?
Well, we've surprised ourselves in so much that the results we've had, because what we have got is an honest bunch of lads who are always going to be committed to getting results. But the first win was important, of course, and we got ourselves on a good run. And you know, we've had some nice press and flamboyant style and stuff, and that come back to haunt us yesterday, of course, when we perhaps overplayed a little and it cost us. But you know, the guys are in good spirits this morning, and we'll bounce back. We're used to. We've had some defeats last year, so we know how to handle them.
Well, the Premiership table looks pretty good from the two Allans' point of view, really, Pardew and Kirbishley, but not for Chris Coleman. His Fulham side in unfamiliar territory, down in the bottom 3, in the relegation places at this early stage of the campaign. This is how the top half looks, though. West Ham still sitting pretty in 9th place on 12 points. That's just 3 behind Charlton. Charlton, with a win this evening, will go back second. They have games in hand on the sides above them. This is how they'll line up this evening. Still no return for Dean Kiley, and the Charlton goal, by the way, still suffering from that injured finger. So Stefan Anderson continues in there. Just the one change, in fact, from the side that lost against Spurs. Herman Hreiderson is back replacing Talal El Karkouri. For Fulham, well, Mark Crosley, of course, has reclaimed his place in goal from Tony Warner. The only change from the side that lost against Manchester United is that Philip Christenval, experienced campaigner, makes just his 2nd Premier League appearance. The man who drops out is Brian McBride, so Collins John will play the lone striking role up front. Alan, do you feel at this stage of the season that Fulham are in a bit of a false position down there in the bottom 3?
Well, we played them at Craven Cottage, and we thought there was an excellent midfield. It was very difficult to contain that area. But it's obviously at the back that they've had issues, and I think tonight Chris would really be looking at his back 4 and hoping that they keep a clean sheet. I think that's probably the basis of success for them from now on in, that the defence tightens up.
At what stage do the players start to look at the papers, see the league table and let it get to them?
That can start pretty quickly. I mean, you know, the pressure starts to build. The Premiership is inundated with coverage, so, you know, it's drilled into you every day. And they'll be under no illusions with Chris Coleman as manager of what's expected when they represent Fulham. So it's a tall order. They've got to get themselves out of trouble and get them out of trouble quick. And tonight it starts here, obviously.
Well, it's a short trip for those travelling sets of supporters. We'll hear from both sets of fans, but for the Fulham travelling fans, well, following their side is frustrating. They usually score, but they usually lose. 9 defeats out of 12 on the road. That's the sort of thing that Fulham fans have been suffering.
Don't think we've been too bad going forward, but our defence is atrocious and we can't seem to take any chances up front, and if we don't score, we ain't really going to win because we keep letting 3 or 4 in a game.
We've just been fairly unlucky. We weren't lucky against Manchester United. I've seen most of the games, but in fact they play pretty well. And if they keep going, then I'm sure we'll stay up this time.
I think their departures of Andy Cole has caught up with them a bit, and sort of lack of spending on significant players in the summer has caught up with them a bit, really. So I think they're all doing as well as they can do. But I don't think there's a lot more in the locker, to be honest with you. Hope I'm wrong.
I think it's been a terrific start to the season, probably the best start ever, really. And as long as they can carry on through the season and finish sort of top half of the table and near the top as possible.
I think they're very brilliant this year. I really enjoyed every match so far. And let's hope they keep it up for the rest of the season.
Bringing Smerton in was a massive move. Him and Murphy just complement each other so well, and that's why we've done so good.
Got a far bigger squad this year, a lot more professionalism about it. I think they'll go right the way through and end up in Europe.
Can't argue, can you? They've had a cracking start, fantastic start. Who could ask for more?
Yeah, they're pretty satisfied down here at the Valley. And of course this season here it's very much been the Darren and Danny show. Darren Bent has got the goals and the headlines, but Danny Murphy has got the plaudits. This is his story of the season so far.
Sunderland away. I try and work in training a lot on making sure that my technique's right on free kicks. And it's flew in for us, which was a great boost for us at the time. 2-1 with 10 men, we had something to hang on to.
Murphy, the practice and the thought pays off for Danny Murphy.
So great start for us up at Sunderland. Wigan at home. Wigan at home was a really enjoyable game to play in, actually. A really good football match. They try and play the right way. But we played some really good stuff. I think I got the ball on the right side and managed to wriggle past their left back and chip the ball to the back stick, and again showed his aerial quality.
Bent! Brilliant!
Followed up the win at Sunderland with another 3 points from another goal from Benty. Middlesbrough away. Away at Middlesbrough was, for me, probably our best performance of the season. Against a very strong side. I found a bit of space, and Dennis made a great run off the right wing. I found him, he's chucked it in the bottom corner. We've got 3 great points and even more than that, a superb performance. Birmingham away. Away at Birmingham was probably our most difficult game, I think. We scored, I think, reasonably early. Great ball in from Jerome, and again, Darren Bent showed more qualities.
It's that man again! It's Darren Bent!
And we were a little bit disappointed with our second half performance, but great signs that we could play worse and still win, if you like. Chelsea at home. Nothing like a game against Chelsea to bring you down a peg or two.
Breathtaking style!
It was kind of a blessing for us, because I think sometimes you can get carried away with the hype, and we'd had some great results. But Chelsea at home was a game that we have to look back on and say the better team won, because they certainly did. West Brom away. It was the first game after our first defeat, and it was important for us to bounce back. And in the first half an hour at West Brom, we probably played some of the best football we played all season.
Danny Murphy, he scored!
Dennis got in down the right and laid one on a plate for me, which, you know, it was easy enough to tuck away. It wasn't just the good football, it was the battling and the spirited side of the game. Tottenham at home. Spurs at home was, for me, probably one of the best games I've played in a long time. It was end-to-end stuff, full of action, full of goals, full of incident. I just won the ball off Davids, and I tried to play first-time ball to beat their offside trap. And Benty got in one-on-one with the keeper and only one result really. I managed to slip Youngie in at 2-2 and he missed from about 6 yards, which I'm sure he'll appreciate me saying.
But that was a wonderful pass from Murphy, which took 3 Spurs players out of the game.
And then we kind of switched off.
The incredible recovery is complete!
But both teams contributed to a fantastic game and kind of hit back at the critics who've been saying the Premiership's getting a little bit predictable and a little bit boring, because anyone who was at the Valley that day would have thoroughly enjoyed it. But we were disappointed that we played so well and got nothing.
Well, he's the Barclays Premier League Player of the Month, Danny Murphy. An ever-present last season, Alan Pardew, and ever-present this season as well. It cost them £2.5 million from Liverpool. That must go down as one of the all-time bargains.
Well, Danny has a great gift of drifting past players, and you know, obviously he's a threat at set plays. He has vision, and he's become the catalyst for this team. And with Darren Bent stretching the pitch and creating room for him, he can cause real damage. I think it took him a time to get used to the way they do things at Charlton. In a much more disciplined way that Curbs likes his midfield players to play. I should know, I was one of them. So there's certain jobs he would have been unused to, and I think it's taken him time to get used to them. But now he's used to them. He's doing both sides of his job, and that's probably why he's in line for an England recall, I should think.
Were you surprised that he didn't get that England recall in the last 2 games?
Well, it's a bit like our situation that we've got with Nigel Okoko, who's the captain of the under-21s. It's such a great pool of players that Sven has got in that area that it's very difficult to break into. And Danny, you know, is really on the fringe of that with Michael Carrick and names like that. There's some big names not in that squad. But, you know, another good performance tonight and a high-profile game would do him no harm.
But of course, Charlton have been crying out for a goal scorer since the days of Clive Mendonca and Andy Hunt, and they found one now, haven't they, in Darren Bent. Has it surprised you how quickly he's settled into life in the Premiership?
Darren played against me in playoff games last season and league games. I knew him so well. The fact we got beat in the playoff final left us chasing that deal, because we wanted to do that deal. I wanted him at West Ham. He's a fantastic player, great attitude, and of course he plays the role better than most, because my belief of that system that Curbs has had great success with is the man at the top of the pitch must stretch the pitch. He must have that pace and that threat in behind, and Darren's got that. And he's added into that with some great goals as well, because he's a natural finisher. So he comes with a nice catalogue of issues that he can bring to a team.
Yeah, he averages almost a goal every 2 games. It does beg the question, though, if Darren Bent doesn't score for Charlton, then who does?
Yeah, well, I think that's a question that Curbs is going to find he needs to answer this season, because at some point people are going to try and tie Darren up, and now he's going to need goals from other areas. Danny Murphy's going to have to contribute, but the 2 wide players, I'm sure that Curbs will want them to contribute, and that area at the moment isn't really fulfilling. So, you know, tonight the highlight for him would be to win 2-0 and the 2 wide players, Romedale and Thomas, to get the goals.
Well, let's speak to Alan Kirbyshire now. 15 years in charge. I think he's going to be used to doing these interviews by now, don't you? Tonight he's talking to Fraser Robertson.
Alan, a 16-day gap for the international break, been a help or a hindrance to your Premiership push?
Well, it has been a longer one, but we feel it's probably in our favour and Fulham's, because we had such a lot of players off, and they came back Friday morning, and 1 or 2 of them was worse for wear. They had long journeys, so the extra couple of days has helped us, and I'm sure it's helped Fulham.
4 teams have leapfrogged above you above you when you were in second. You can go back there with a win tonight. How important is it to regain the ground straight away?
Well, I think that after getting beat by Spurs, we need to pick the points up again. But this is not going to be easy. I keep seeing this table, and Fulham are down there, but I know that Fulham should have picked up more points than they've got so far. And I see him play at Spurs a couple of weeks ago, so I know we're in for a difficult game.
Your only 2 defeats in the Premiership have come in London derbies at home, so third time lucky putting that right tonight?
Well, I think we've got to. You know, Chelsea done us. We give as good as we got until they scored. I don't think we deserve to get beat by Spurs for sure, and we did, so we need to put that right tonight.
Do you feel Fulham are coming as a team under pressure? Will that help you?
I don't think they may be under pressure, but I don't know if that's going to help us. I think that Fulham have got players in that side that... especially people like Klaus Jensen, who won't be fazed by being down the bottom after 7 or 8 games. But, it's a game I think they're coming here, and it should be a good game. I think they're coming here thinking they can win it, and we're certainly thinking we can win it.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, Alan mentioned another London derby there, Alan. Of course, a host of derbies by the nature of the beast. There are so many London clubs in the Premiership now. Are they really any tougher than other matches?
Well, they certainly bring an extra spice and an extra pressure for players, and you know, the referee's under a little bit more pressure. It's high profile, it's a derby, there's that commitment from the fans, and I think it does make it more difficult, and certainly makes it more tense. Sending offs, decisions that referees are under pressure with the fans so enthusiastic. So I think it does make a difference, and it makes it tighter, and everyone is so close in the game, and all the London teams, apart from Chelsea and Arsenal, you know, it's all pretty tight affairs, and I think this will be a tight affair tonight.
Now, I mentioned that they're enjoying the start of the season at Charlton, and they certainly are, because, well, they may have won nothing so far as the Premiership goes, but their players are winning awards left, right and centre. Danny Murphy, you can probably hear in the background, is just picking up his Barclays Premier League Player of the Month award. And, of course, Darren Bent won the same award last month. Bent this month has had to be satisfied with the PFA Player of the Month award and the Supporters award for the Player of the Month as well. So they're having a fantastic time, aren't they? Awards left, right and centre. What they want, of course, is 3 points this evening, but then so do Fulham. Now, one Fulham player who knows this ground better than most is Klaus Jensen. Jensen these days, of course, is a Fulham player and scoring some spectacular goals. Just as he did in more than 100 appearances for Charlton.
As a player, I look forward to going back to a ground and a place where in my case I spent a lot of good years there, 4 years with Charlton. So yeah, it'd be good to go back. I mean, I had a good relationship with all the Charlton fans, and I felt that I was part of doing some very good things in those 4 years. I think the start they've had, it's been great for them, obviously, and but I think when you look at our teams, we are very equal, and I think it'll be really a tough match and a close match on Monday, and I don't think there'll be a lot between the two sides, so it should be a good game. We try and attack, and we try and play a bit of an open game, if you like, so there's been some interesting games already this year, I think, and great games, really.
And that is a fine goal.
I know that it's no use really saying that we've had good performances, because it's points that you want. When you don't get the points, you're getting frustrated, but you use it in a good manner. I mean, I think as a player and as a manager and as fans of Fulham, you would think that with good performances, points are going to come. And I think, and as I said, I genuinely feel that there's a good confidence in the squad that we are going to start picking up points now.
And here he is, back on his old stamping ground. You can see meeting up with a few pals as well. Chris Powell is there, and Radiston Kishishev as well, who both played in the same side, of course, as Klaus Jensen. That was a bit harsh, Alan, just showing that the goal that Fulham scored against you and not showing your goals. Plus, you beat them by 2-1. How did Klaus Jensen play?
He played very well, and I'm a great admirer of his. Obviously, he had some great years here, and really, Danny Murphy has taken his role as the catalyst. Klaus was very much that here, and he'll be that for Fulham today. You know, conjuring something up and looking for something special. He has that eye for something different, and makes him difficult to play against and difficult to mark.
He does score some spectacular goals, there's no question about that. Very experienced as well. I mean, if you look at the Fulham midfield, I mean, they look to have plenty of strength in that sort of area, but their problems appear to lie in defence and up front. And Collins John's been asked to play that lone striker role this evening. Can he do it?
Yeah, I think that's a tough call on him tonight, because you know, they're coming up against Charlton, who've played the system now and have it ingrained in what the roles are. Fulham have played it before, as we know, but I don't remember John Collins playing it very often, so I think it'll be tough for him tonight. But he has similar qualities to Darren Bent, of course, in that he can stretch the pitch. He's got good pace, good strength, so they'll be looking to get it into him and then join him from there. And as you say, the midfield is really the strength for Fulham.
I mean, Collins John, apart from anything else, he hasn't scored since April, but he gives them a bit more physical presence up front, doesn't he?
Yeah, as I say, he's got the attributes for that role, so it could be a good success for him tonight. And you know, I know Chris will be desperate for a result here, and you know, with the teams matched up as they are, it'll be interesting, and you know, he's got an important role to play for them.
I know Chris was concerned last season that his back four were desperately inexperienced. They have a bit more experience now, but he's plumped to put Philip Christenval in this evening, who might just play as one of the holding players in front of that back four. And I mean, he's got bagfuls of experience, 23 Champions League appearances. Is he a player you know much about?
To be frank, he isn't, but you know, it'd be interesting to see which player sits for them, because Baba Diop, obviously that suits him, and that's the role he usually plays for Fulham. So maybe they'll play two sitters, which Charlton do, and just let Klaus roam around in front of them. So that'll be interesting to see how they match that up, because you can play this system with one holding player and two midfield players linking. So it'll be interesting to see. Charlton for sure will play with two holding players and one linking with the strikers. So it'll be interesting to see how that's set up tonight.
Just getting a bit of advice there for a moment or two. You know, it's interesting to compare and contrast the two squads, Alan. And Chris Coleman must look upon Alan Kirbishley's squad with a bit of envy these days. Do you think that Charlton have got the squad this season that could stop them having that fade out in the latter stages of the season?
I think they have. I mean, obviously I looked at the squad list before I come over to check if they was going to throw unusual names at me that I didn't know, and there's 39 names or 30 odd names on that list. You know, he's got a hell of a squad, and I was speaking to Curbs earlier, and you know, at the moment managing his team is not difficult, because when you're winning everybody's quite content. But they lost to Tottenham. If they lose tonight, he's going to have some senior players knocking on his door, Dean Kiley being one, wanting to play, you know. So you know, he's going to have to give them a taste. He's going to have to let them have a feel of the Premiership to keep them focused. Very much what I've got at West Ham, some very, very good players not playing at the moment. It's difficult.
Is there a danger if they don't win this evening that playing here at the Valley could be a bit of a problem? They had problems winning here last season, and they lost 2 of the first 3 this.
Yeah, I think that's probably, not that he'd admit to it, but the staff probably have that in their mind to think, it'd be nice to get a win here today and get that home form rolling, because their wins away from home are unusual to get 4 on the spin, and you know, that ain't going to continue. I think they'll be aware of that. You see a home form that's absolutely essential, and you know, they'll be looking to get that win tonight. I think it is going to be a tight game, but you know, I know from their camp that it's very, very important that they win, get back to second, and get back putting pressure on Chelsea.
It's a funny old season in the Premiership, isn't it? I mean, who could imagine it, Alan? You know, Charlton in second place in the Premiership, Wigan up there in the top 6, West Ham up there in the top 10. It's fantastic for football, isn't it?
Well, it's good, and I think, you know, I went on record as saying that myself, Paul Jewell and Mick McCart, I think that was a good thing for us, that we've attacked the Premiership and to draw everybody to us, because, you know, we was the 3 favourites to go down, so we've drawn people in now, and I think people are going, well, perhaps they're going to be competitive all year. Ooh, you know, let's get our house in order, and it's made it, you know, it's made it interesting, and you know, we've sucked people in down the bottom who would have envisaged that Everton would be where they are. And we know they're not going to be there for long. You know, David Moyes will get them going again. So it's going to make for a great season. And hopefully there'll be some, it'll be a bit tighter at the top than it is at the moment.
Makes for a smashing Premiership, no question about that. Let's hope it makes for a smashing evening here as well at the Valley. Another London derby coming up for you then as Charlton take on Fulham. Let's join our commentators, Alan Smith, and first, Ian Dark.
And without further ado, let's confirm the teams for you. Charlton have made only 3 changes all season. It's been going that well, but there is one tonight. Herman Hreidarsson reclaims his central defensive role after missing the 3-2 defeat here against Spurs with a thigh injury. Talal Al-Kakori drops to the bench. Keeper Dean Kiley has recovered from his broken finger. He's been playing for the reserves, but isn't deemed ready for a first-team return yet. Striker Darren Bent, I hardly need remind you, 7 goals in 7 Premiership games.
Well, you look at reasons for Charlton's success so far this season, and one of them has got to be the fact that 8 of this lineup have played in all 7 Premiership games so far. That's got to help when you're working on a system, and it is a system, as we all know, that has bedded down straight away with the 2 new boys, Alexei Smirtin in midfield and Darren Bent doing the business straight away. 7 league goals so far for Bent. I mean, he performs that role through the middle on his own very well indeed, and as the goal-scoring focal point, he does make the formation tick.
Fulham always go 4-4-2, but not tonight. There is a tactical switch. The former Barcelona defender Philippe Christenval gets his first ever Premiership start in a holding role as Fulham look to match Charlton's midfield numbers. The reshuffle means that top scorer Brian McBride misses out, with 20-year-old Collins John preferred as the lone striker. Still no place, even on the bench, for defender Zat Knight after his breach of club discipline.
Well, Chris Coleman has decided to make a slight change in his formation tonight by ditching his previous 4-4-2. He's obviously aware of how well Charlton's midfield trio have performed this season, particularly Danny Murphy, who likes to drift in behind Darren Bent, and he obviously doesn't want to get overrun in that area, so takes a bit of a punt in my book on introducing Philippe Christenval as the midfield anchorman. No shortage of pedigree from the Frenchman, but he didn't play once for Marseille last season. It's asking a lot, and if there's responsibility on him, there is up front as well on Collins John, of course, who tried to do for Fulham what Darren Bent does so well for Charlton. It's not easy. He'll need the support of Lewis Boumorti tonight from the left, and in this system I'd expect Papa Bouba to get forward a little bit more than usual.
Perfect playing conditions tonight and not far to travel, 17 miles in fact for these Fulham fans, some of whom I understand came on the boat up the River Thames. 200 children in fact somewhere in tonight's crowd. Fulham, by the way, have the worst away record in the Premiership, jointly with, guess, Arsenal. Sign of how things have been going for Arsene Wenger's side early on in the season. As for Charlton, well, they're still pinching themselves, but they have to get used to it, because Charlton have been going particularly well, though not particularly well, here at the Valley. They've only won once here and 2 home defeats. They're only 2 defeats of the season in the Premiership. And you can always feel that pre-match tension in the tunnel. Luke Young, now Charlton's most capped England international of all time. Yes, even with 6. Could be a few more to come, and maybe at the World Cup next summer. He's now established, I think, as the deputy to Gary Neville, who of course is currently injured. And Stefan Anderson, who continues to hold on to the goalkeeper's jersey for Charlton. Player who's recovered from a bad start for Charlton. His first game was a 4-0 home defeat by Manchester United, who are due here quite soon, by the way, as well. Mark Crossley's back in goal now for Fulham. He replaced Tony Warner for the Manchester United game. 36 years old, made his debut 17 years ago, and a few stories along the way. Of course, he was with Cloughie in his Nottingham Forest years. This just one of 30 London derbies this season. Both of these sides, remember, involved in 5-goal thrillers in their last matches. Fulham losing to Manchester United, and Charlton, after being 2 up, losing 3-2 to Spurs here. Good atmosphere here, perfect playing conditions as well. Let's hope for a good match. Will Charlton Athletic bounce back to form and go back into second place? Will Fulham get their first away win and climb out of the bottom 3? All the action coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to the Valley, all set to go here for this London derby. Charlton Athletic Danny Murphy, the current Premiership Player of the Month, and Darren Bent won it the year before that. Charlton had never had any such award before this season. Fulham to get us underway here, looking for their first away win. They've lost their last 3 games, Fulham. And a change of formation, remember, for them tonight. A tactical switch by Fulham, looking to just maybe tighten things up a little bit. They've tried to be aggressive, and they've got 5 points already. They feel they deserve a lot more than that. Chris Powell on the chase with Steed Malbranc early on. Charlton, their best start to a Premiership season. Fulham, their worst. Here's an early touch for Christian Wahl into Nicholas Jensen. Luis Boa Morte, for whom the goals have just dried up a little bit during this phase of his career. Could do with him bouncing back to his good goal-scoring form of old. Now, here against his old club is Klaus Jensen. Luis Boa Morte with an early effort. It was blocked by Chris Perry on the way through.
It's funny, you know, Alan Kirbishley was saying before this match that his Charlton side have never actually enjoyed too much playing against Fulham when they do adopt the 4-5-1 system. Just wondering whether Chris Coleman was listening. It'll be interesting to see how this match does pan out with similar kinds of formation. Christian Wahl is playing as the holding player in front of his back 4.
Nicholas Jensen getting it away. Klaus Jensen's been in great form this season, particularly for Denmark against England. You might remember he was quite brilliant in Denmark's 4-1 win, but the Danes won't be going to the World Cup and England will. Here's Alexei Smetin. More than a little off target, Alan.
Well, it was, but he has made such a difference, I think. He's one of those unsung heroes. Not for nothing was he bought by Chelsea, and I think some people raised their eyebrows, didn't they, went out on loan to Portsmouth, but he's a quality player, having spoken to some of those Charlton midfielders.
Malbranc. Charlton looking to bounce back. They were jolted a little bit after their ultra-bright start to the season by leading Spurs 2-0 and blowing it, losing 3-2 at home. Looking to re-establish themselves here a little bit. Christian Wahl's header away. He's a little bit short of matches, Christian Wahl. He didn't play at all last season for Marseille. Just the one sub-appearance in the Premiership so far for Fulham.
Well, he's asking a lot from a point of view of stamina and also adjusting to the Premiership. He came on as a sub, I think, against West Ham. He's played one Carling Cup game, but that's it.
Danny Murphy. Perry in there, the goalkeeper electing to punch, but the flag was up.
Well, Chris Perry was factually offside a couple of players, but he was absolutely on his own in the middle, wasn't he? Nobody picking him up at all.
Great control by Steed Malbranc on that far side. Looking to run at Chris Powell. Kishushev is there to cut it out. There's an unsung job in the midfield for Charlton. There's the Bulgarian Kishushev. Thomas with the old razzle-dazzle. Here is Kishushev. Chris Powell back at his spiritual home after going away for a year to West Ham United, where he helped them to promotion, of course, to the Premiership. Is Perry. He's dropped behind Volts for Thomas. He didn't seem to quite get his bearings, though. Charlton's only 2 Premiership wins ever against Fulham have been in the last 2 meetings here at the Valley. And Alan Kirbishley, who goes all the way back to those days when Charlton made their emotional return to this ground in December 1992.
He's not happy about something. Coming down the steps, over where with Mervyn Day.
Malbronk looking bright early on that right-hand side for Fulham. Murphy's pass is a little too long for Jerome Thomas. He's already come downstairs, Alan Kirbishley. Chris Coleman, hard to believe he's still only 35, you know. This job will age anybody, though, I should think. Never been in the bottom three before, either.
Looks pretty good on it. Doesn't seem to be showing the stresses and strains too much yet.
Just asking for a little more time and patience from the Fulham fans. They're convinced they're going to get things right eventually this season. Bouba Diop on the turn and being held back by Smerton. He's such a mountainous presence in there, Bouba Diop. Watch his long-range shooting. What a lovely little touch that was from Smerton for Thomas. Bent waiting in the middle, and Romadal too. Still not away. That's Hreidarson's ball, not quite accurate enough. It was cut out by Moritz Volz.
That's where they've got to get right sometimes. They look up and they've only got Collins John to aim at. He goes one way and the pass goes the other. When you're not quite used to playing in that system, as they haven't been this term, Fulham. In contrast, Charlton have, and everybody knows the job. They know exactly where Darren Bent's going to move.
Flicked on by Bowen Morte, who picks it up again. This is Papa Bouba Diop, and he's got a real shot on him. We know that from the past. Perry gets it away. Back to Bouba Diop again. And don't call him the wardrobe for nothing. You don't have to have a very vivid imagination to work out how he got that name.
He's a handful. When he gets on the ball, he's almost impossible to shove off, and straight away we've seen him in a more advanced role.
One or two stories about Arsenal looking at him recently, weren't there, as well? I think Fulham want him to sign another one-year deal. Malbronk. Looks buzzy, doesn't he, early on, Steve Malbronk?
Yeah, he's getting plenty of the ball, and I'm not sure that's what Alan Kirbishley was talking about. He was isolating Chris Powell in the left-back position, having a run at him. They won't want that, Charlton.
Jensen with a bit of pace. Bouba Diop's header, not a problem for the Danish goalkeeper Stefan Andersen. Here's Romadal. He's got in behind Nicholas Jensen. The two Danish teammates against each other on this side. Romadal against Nicholas Jensen. They were in Kazakhstan together last week. And Romadal getting inside. It was a lovely ball from Murphy. It's Romadal. Oh, he's hit the post. It was a brilliant move from Charlton. And a wonderful ball to set it all up by Danny Murphy too.
That's what he's capable of, Danny Murphy. Sees the pass so well. He really does. And he's perfectly weighted too. Nicholas Jensen goes to sleep, I have to say. He was marginally onside Demis Romadal. He gets nothing wrong. A couple of inches out. Wonderful effort, just trying to curl it round Mark Crossley.
The move deserved a goal. But maybe Fulham will draw some encouragement from that let-off. It's Hreidarsson who's back in the side tonight after a minor thigh injury. It did stop him playing for Iceland recently in the World Cup qualifiers. Sign of the Cosmopolitan Times, Alan, that 20 players from Charlton and Fulham combined were on international duty last week.
I think one of the Charlton lads said there was about 4 in training during that week, which is okay for them, but usually you end up running when you're not away with your country. A few laps of the pitch.
There's Murphy again with another inch-perfect pass, this time to Bent, whose first touch rather let him down. just allowed Nicholas Jensen in. Bent, who, by the way, hasn't yet got on the pitch for England, he's been warming the bench for the last 5 internationals or so, but some season so far for him. Bocanegra's long ball. Alain Goma. Grateful to see that bounce back to his goalkeeper off Thomas.
And he's taking a chance. He's taking a big chance there. His last man, and Jerome Thomas closing down quickly. I mean, this Fulham defence, it is a new look one really when you consider Edwin van der Sar's gone. Bocanegra's playing in the middle rather than at full back.
And Goma's hardly played this season. He only came back into the side after injury for the Manchester United match.
Yeah, Nicholas Jensen too. He's a new boy, so
yeah, and
the signs are there, aren't they, that it's not entirely watertight unit, getting used to each other's game.
This is Christian Val. Just got to get used to this system that they're playing. They nearly always play 4-4-2, Fulham, to their credit, even away from home. Bouba Diop up to Collins John. Oh, and it's a splendid run through from Volts as well. Here's Collins John. If he can dig it out and score, he can't.
Well, he knows that's a golden opportunity. The goal was gaping. This actually is a poor ball, but Moritz Volts makes something of it. And that's not the best ball, but they get a little bit of luck, and he just scoffs it, doesn't he? Collins John, any kind of decent contact, and that's got every chance of finding the back of the net. He's just trying to get it out from under his feet. Collins John couldn't quite manage it.
Now, Chris Coleman gave him the nod over the top scorer this season so far, Brian McBride, tonight. That was the sort of opportunity Fulham, you sense, will have to take. Here's Volts again, his run forward. Pretty important in that last move. It's too long though for Bowen Water. He would come out to the right-hand side this time. Flicked on by Bent. They almost just let him have that first ball there, Fulham.
They look a little bit at 6s and 7s, that Fulham defence. Bocanegra, Jensen, neither of them going for that header. Bit of a mix-up in communication. The glances between the two.
Nicholas Jensen, who of course was with Manchester City for a time, on towards Bowen Morte on this side. Christian Val. Ball slick across this surface. Bowen Morte could have been balling. Collins John couldn't quite reach it. He got ahead of Powell over on that side.
Well, it looked like he'd done enough, didn't it? It really did. This is a beautiful ball from Bowen Morte. He's in front of Chris Powell, and Powell gets a bit of contact on his man, does enough to put him off, or is it just out of reach? Collins John with a bit more of a dive. I thought he could have got something on that.
Yes, maybe a desperate lunge might have had the required result there for Fulham. Couple of chances though in the space of a couple of minutes for the visitors. Luke Young tangling with Nicholas Jensen. Bocanegra. Smertin picks it up for Charlton Athletic. Bent is the target for this one, but Bocanegra gets there first. He should be quite fresh, Bocanegra, because he was suspended for the second of the USA's World Cup qualifiers last week, their match in Boston against Panama. Similarly, Bowen Morte was only on the bench for Portugal recently, so he's had a good break as well. offside flag against Collins John, who made an explosive impact. You might remember when he first came into the Premiership, he scored 4 in his first 3 games and was a bit of a sensation. He's a Liberian boy, but is qualified to play for Holland as in their under-21 side. This is Smertin, all energy in that Charlton midfield. Kishishev wins it back for Charlton. Chris Perry. Now Jerome Thomas. Good little battle on that side too between Jerome Thomas and Moritz Volz, who used to play in the same Arsenal FA Youth Cup winning side. Bent is onside here but couldn't control it, and Crossley does enough. Chance.
Good chance. Good chance.
Good bit of play by Smertin there in midfield. Ramadal's ball, unable to pick up Thomas. Charlton have hit the post already, but Fulham have had a couple of chances of their own. That's offside against John.
Yeah, it's a good open game, isn't it? Darren Bent, the latest to get in. He's held his run, he's held it. It looked offside originally, maybe given the benefit of the doubt, but that first touch just let him down. Not an easy one as it comes over your shoulder.
Klaus Jensen. Now Nicholas Jensen. Bouba Diop invited to shoot, does. And that's just catching practice for the spectator about 14 rows back.
Well, they do look nice and lively when they go forward, Fulham. They went 2 goals up against Manchester United, didn't they? So they can't be doing all that much wrong on the front foot, and he's had a couple of shots from long range.
Well, they led Arsenal as well this season as well. Lost that one too, though. Player cam switching to Collins John, much involved so far. Here's Haridason. No goals, but plenty going on early on in this one. Splendidly appointed stadium now, the Valley. Hard to think that it was once overgrown with grass and bushes in the late 1980s. In those days when 14,000 people were voting to save the Valley in the local elections. Incredible stuff. Here's Malbronk. It's an interesting battle this so far. Here is Smertin to Murphy. Really enjoying his role in this middle 3 for Charlton. Danny Murphy, licensed to really be creative. And he's among the leaders in the league table of assists in the Premiership this season, quite apart from 3 goals of his own. But he's given that one away to Christian Val, who's just overrun it.
It's a good open game, isn't it? Because what you've got a couple of strikers either side, not just the 2 strikers, Darren Bent and Collins John, Ramadal as well, Jerome Thomas, players with pace, and as a result both defensives dropping off a bit more than they might otherwise do, and plenty of room in that middle ground for the talented players to try and make something work.
Well read that again by Kishishev, another of those players who won't be going to the World Cup. Bulgaria didn't make it. Riderson into the channel, hoping Bent can make something of that. Volts. Riderson strong and with plenty of pace, either at left back or in central defence, but he's given that one away to Malbronk, but his cross is overhit. He's These two clubs separated by 10 points as things stand. There were just 2 points between them at the end of last season. Two clubs, though, who've proved that coming up into the Premiership, you can establish yourself and you can make a future in the division. They've kept themselves nicely out of trouble since promotion in recent years. A bit more than that as well, at times.
We'll see. Fulham certainly see Charlton as the benchmark, no doubt about that. They've led the way, this Charlton side, and want to build a side in the Premiership on not all that much money.
Romadal. Here's Luke Young. Murphy, oh, it's a nice triangle. It ends up with Romadal, slides it in, Bent's there again! Couldn't apply the finishing touch, but it was a lovely, slick move by Charlton Athletic.
Well, it's another great chance, and I think he is offside. The Fulham defence have got a case there, and this looks like a glorious chance, and I'm not quite sure what happened to Darren Bent. Did he slip on the point of contact? But, well, he'll be really disappointed. Moritz Volz made contact, but I don't think that put him off the striker. 7 yards out. What a chance.
Well, the only two teams he's failed to score against so far are Chelsea and West Bromwich Albion. He scored in every other game Charlton have played this season. Absolutely incredible. Talk about dream starts with a new club.
Well, when you're a striker like him as well, coming from the Championship, there's bound to be a few doubts in your own mind whether you can actually hack it at this level, and nothing like a couple of goals early on to get you off the mark as a striker more than any other position, and he got exactly that up at Sunderland, didn't he, and hasn't looked back. He's had a couple of little openings tonight that he's not made best use of.
Romadal with some lovely old-fashioned type wing play. Ryderson. Powell's made an overlapping run here, and he abandoned the run, but I fancy the ball had a bit too much on it anyway. Coming up on Sky Sports, some great Champions League action this week. On Wednesday, we feature Anderlecht against Liverpool. That's from 6 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. And Chelsea against Real Betis is our featured game on Sky Sports Extra at 7:30. Chris Perry. It's been superb for Alan Kirbishley. He's hardly had to touch his side all season, just the odd little injury, maybe a player ineligible or suspended. Now then, Kishishev is bent. Thomas is on the back post there. It's come out and fired wide by Danny Murphy.
Finding themselves getting spare players, Charlton. They did their 2 against 1. They didn't need to use it. That's a difficult one for Danny Murphy. A few players in the way.
And Danny Murphy wasn't picked, was he, by Sven-Göran Eriksson for the recent World Cup qualifier. Some people thought he would be, but there's still time, I guess.
Well, there's always 1 or 2 maybe that comes through late on the rails.
Of course, he missed the last World Cup, didn't he, Alan, because of injury?
Well, they know all about him, don't they, England? No doubt about that.
Here's Murphy. Very much the chief orchestrator for Charlton. Now Romadal. Again, Romadal getting away from Nicholas Jensen, and I tell you what, the Danish winger is giving his Danish teammate some nasty moments tonight.
Well, he's finding himself not facing the ball, Nicholas Jensen. He doesn't know where he is. He loses his bearings. That's happened 2 or 3 times now where Romadal's got the ball in that kind of area.
He's already hit the post, Romadal, and he was through again then. Worrying gaps, those, from a Fulham perspective. Murphy with the corner this time, and Haridason with the header.
That's a fair old battle. Haridason, Papa Bouba Diop, two strong boys.
Powell's header. Free kick to Fulham. Moritz Volz, who's been on duty for the German under-21 side in Austria. Now he'd love to force his way into Germany's World Cup plans. Host nation, of course. Morte, now the captain of Fulham, signed a new 5-year deal as well this season. Of course, Newcastle, I think it was an open secret, wanted him.
That's what they do so well, Charlton, competing in that middle area. You saw Kishishev and Danny Murphy working in tandem, hustling to get the ball back.
Volts up towards John. Klaus Jensen picking it up. Malbronk. And it's a yellow card for Kishishev.
Oh, it's a little tug on Klaus Jensen, I think, as he's going for the return ball from Malbronk. No doubt about it. Kishishev was wrong side.
Taken quickly, Malbronk pulls it back, Collins John! Oh yes! What about that? Fulham are ahead! 2 goals in 2 matches too for Collins John.
That's how pleased he is. Buried himself in the dugout, and after missing that earlier chance, Collins John, he'll be absolutely delighted with this quick free kick. I want to sleep a little bit, but have a look at this for a finish. Very clean strike, right in the corner, no chance for Anderson. Beautiful striker's goal from Collins John, and they hadn't really threatened that day apart from the odd glimpse. They'd come in so far, and coming up against that Charlton back four, that's how much it means to Chris Coleman.
Well, his selection was justified as well. He left out the top scorer and played Collins John, maybe for his extra little bit of mobility, but what a piece of skill. And there's a jolt for Charlton.
Well, against the run of the play, you have to say, wouldn't you? Charlton looking the most dangerous, the more dangerous opening half hour.
He'd had a couple of little things before, though, hadn't he, John? And third time of asking, he accepted.
Taking a chance there, Alan Goma. Going over the back of Herman Haridason.
Like Volts took a little push from Thomas. Mike Riley's happy enough. He had quite a close look, by the way, at Collins John's celebrations after the goal to see if it was a bit over the top, but decided in the end it was okay, which I think was perfectly sensible. Now Powell going down. It's yellow card for this challenge.
Well, he's dived in. It's a scissor movement as well, isn't it? 2 feet.
Tristan Val in the book on his first Premiership appearance, or start anyway, for Fulham. Played in again by Murphy. Oh, and there seemed to be a little elbow back there on Perry, but the whistle had already gone.
Well, there's a bit of shoving between the two. Perry's half the size of Bouba Diop, but it was the Fulham player really that shoved Perry in the face. You can see there, gets a foul for him though. A little bit of tugging going on, not too much though. Somehow Perry gets the foul awarded against him.
Here's Malbronk. Volts. Good build-up by Fulham again here. Malbronk drives it across, and they're looking dangerous here and not looking like a side in the bottom three at all here, Fulham.
Well, it's amazing what a goal can do for you. Confidence flooding through the side. Is it a tight angle? Malbronk, it's a cross shot. He doesn't get in on target. Maybe one of his teammates can follow it in. Not that time.
The problem for Fulham is they are among those sides with the leakiest defences so far. 13 conceded already. So can they hang on to this against Charlton, who have one of the most potent attacks on paper? Only Chelsea and Manchester United have scored more than them.
Well, they certainly look dangerous up this right-hand side with that man Ramadal attacking Nicholas Jensen.
Half an hour gone, shock scoreline. Charlton 0, Fulham 1. Murphy. Ryderson was trying to attack it again, but Bouba Diop was there with him.
Well, it is a battle, and that was a towering clearance from Bouba Diop.
Another Danny Murphy corner. Comes out to Kishashev. Malbronk trying to lead a break, but Powell is there first. But now there might be something for Fulham with Klaus Jensen. Can he hold it up effectively? Did well. Christian Weil. Murphy. Driven low and hard and wide.
Well, it's a decent effort. He's found that little bit of space in between the defence and midfield. Christian Val couldn't get there. The keeper's got that one covered. It's a test though for Charlton. Such good form and at the top of that Premiership, but lost the last 2 home games, and always a danger they get a little bit twitchy now. The crowd gets anxious. They've got to keep the faith. Long way to go, of course.
Yeah, strange the way these things work out. Charlton are 100% away from home. 4 games, 4 wins. Only Chelsea in the entire 92 clubs can match that. But at home, they've lost 2 out of 3 already, and they're trailing here against Fulham. And here's Ryderson with the free kick. Murphy looking to pick up Luke Young's through ball. He thought he took a little knock from Bowen Morty on the way through. The ref wasn't interested. Cut out well by Nicholas Jensen that time. Perry went down off the ball there. And the flag is up here. Darren Bent becomes the subject of player cam, and Charlton would quite like it if during that period of attention he was to come out with an equaliser. Meanwhile, at the other end, Collins John turning well and doing quite well to locate the ball coming over his shoulder. Malbronk. A really good game over on that right-hand side. Volts. Still got it as well. There's a big determination about Fulham, and now they've got a free kick on the edge of the box.
Well, Fulham, Charlton will not be happy that they allowed this one to develop. He does well, Volts. Shows the foul, but they've got 3 men round and can't clear it. They're going to make a substitution, aren't they, Fulham? Somebody's injured.
Well, Charlton know all about what Klaus Jensen can do with free kicks. He spent 4 years here showing visiting sides. Now, is he going to be the one who takes this? Nicholas Jensen's there as well with his good left foot. Now here's another moment of danger, and what Fulham would give for a 2-goal cushion.
Had a player on the line in Kishishev, Charlton, and none of the Fulham players have pushed back to stand in front of Stefan Andersson, as you'd expect. I don't know if they've spotted Kishishev on the left-hand post.
Tomasz Radzinski has come on, and Kristen Val has gone off, presumably with some kind of injury. We'll let you know about that. And meanwhile, here's Nicholas Jensen over the top.
Well, in those instances, you just want to make sure you get it on target. You see Lewis Belmorta had dropped in. A touch from either player. Well, it's not been the best of nights for him, has it? Short-lived. His team are in the lead.
Hamstring injury, we are told, just when he thought he'd forced his way into the Fulham side, and the striker, Tomasz Radzinski, comes on. So interesting to see how Fulham reorganise. Thomas, look at Papa Bouba Diop's challenge there. Nothing wrong with Fulham's spirit.
That's something to hang on to, haven't they? I'm sure they've done a lot of work on the training ground, or at least as much as they could after that Manchester United defeat, 2-0 up, losing 3-2.
Taken quickly, Murphy. Just a bit too long for Darren Bent. Will have to work just to keep that in play. Did he do that? Still got it. Romadal. Bent, Luke Young, overhead.
I think he's got caught in two minds there. Not quite sure whether to have a little thrash at goal or cross it. In the end, it was kind of in between.
Luke Young has scored his first 2 club goals ever last season.
I think Bouba Diop now, he's going to take up that anchor role position. Gudzinski on the left and Belmorta over on the right-hand side now.
Here is Radzinski going up for that one with Luke Young. Smertin's header, but Radzinski did well to win the ball, and then Malbronk's given it away to Jerome Thomas. Still Thomas, and give Malbronk all the credit in the world. He chased all the way back, and he was the one that got it back for Fulham. And Fulham get a free kick as well. Malbronk being watched tonight by Stuart Pearce, the Manchester City manager, who's been on his tail, and I just think he wants to sign Malbronk, doesn't he? He's quite clear about that.
Well, he'll want to sign him even more, I think, after the first 38 minutes, because he's been the catalyst for Fulham. He's got things moving, had a lot of possession, been really bright with the ball.
Fulham won't want to sell, that's for certain. Klaus Jensen, Bocanegra fell over, it was fallen for Radzinski! Oh, about, what, 6 inches wide?
Well, so close, wasn't it? Yet again, Charlton do make a bit of a mess of that free kick. Nobody can get it away. 2 players going for the same ball, and, well, that's how close it was. It was a decent enough strike. Difficult chance. They would have loved 2-0 going into half-time.
He's only scored 1 in his last 23 Premiership games, Radzinski. And this is Luke Young. Cut back. Oh, not really cleared as well. And Powell was on the end of the chance and couldn't convert it.
Well, half-time, they won't be able to complain that they haven't had the chances. And down this right-hand side, yet again, he's stretching a little bit, Chris Powell. But they've carved open Fulham.
It's a bad moment for Goma, wasn't it, there? He just missed the ball entirely as it came across. Malbronk Klaus Jensen letting it run, and then Perry getting it away. Well, Alan Kirbishley was saying beforehand to us he thought this would be a tough game. He's right. It's not a bad one either. Malbronk again, looking to pick up Collins John round down that side. Murphy. Five minutes to the break. Absolutely key for Fulham, Alan, really, that they hold on to this going into half-time.
Well, yeah, that's right. They're going 1-1. There's that seed of doubt in your mind, more than seed of doubt. Get in at 1-0 up, and they can reorganise the troops if anything needs adjusting.
Oh, it's a miscue by Jerome Thomas.
He took it very early, Jerome Thomas. Slicing it.
He did score at this fixture last season, Jerome Thomas, when Charlton won by 2-1. Ledzinski's header on. Perry gets it away. Now it's Boa Morte. Lovely quick feet from him. Then Jensen. It's very neat, this from Fulham. Where can they take it? They can take it all the way to Malbronk, who nearly picked up Voltz's run. Oh, Malbronk is really teasing Charlton over on that side. Klaus Jensen, who nearly put that over the top of the Jimmy Seed stand.
I expect a little bit better from Klaus Jensen. Such a talented player, but yet again, Malbronk making things happen. Leaning back all the time, Jensen. Never going to go anywhere but top of the roof. He's the man, though, at the moment. I always think when he's on song, Fulham are as well.
He had a funny old season last season where he got dropped a couple of times, and I think stormed out in a bit of a fallout with Chris Coleman towards the end of last season, but he seems to be very much back on his game now. Very talented player at his best. This is Chris Powell. Deep towards Bent, and he was just taking a little bit of a ride, and Mike Riley didn't like that.
He climbs on the back of Bocanegra. Ball always a little bit too high for Darren Bent. Been frustrating at times for the striker. He's had those couple of chances where on another day he might have helped himself to a goal or two.
Romadal. Haridason. Smertin. Now Murphy. And that's not like Danny Murphy, that one. He's beating himself up about that ball. Murphy again, trying to get Charlton moving forward. Thomas feeds it back. Powell plays it in. Bent attacks it. Nicholas Jensen wins it importantly for Fulham, but they've got some more defending to do yet. Fulham, who haven't won away since the final game of last season at Blackburn. In fact, they've only won twice away in the league in the calendar year of 2005. Murphy. Key period this for both sides. Fulham desperate to hold on to half-time for the one-goal lead they have, but it's Growing pressure from Charlton, and now Young. Was he just pushed out of the way by Radzinski? Referee had a good look and said no. It's Murphy driving into the box. Smertin took it off him. Maybe Murphy didn't want it taken off him. I think there's a little bit of an accusing glance. Meanwhile, Romadal up towards Bent on that far side. Volz did enough. Bent can have another stab. No, he can't.
They've done everything but, haven't they, in this first half? Charlton had 5 or 6 of those kind of moves where the ball's come into the box, and it's just been that final touch.
Just the 1 minute of added time, which is better news for Chris Coleman than Alan Kirbishley. So Alain Gomez header away. And they can take their time here, and that might just about be that if Mark Crossley has a good look at the maker's name on the ball here. Here's Romadal. Curry looking to hit it long, but that's a bit too long. It's a bit of an awkward bounce, this, for Nicholas Janssen. Bocanegra, rather. He can't take any chances with it. Good turn. Smertin into the danger area. Oh, and Hreiderson was a foot or so away from an equaliser.
Oh, would you believe it? He had another cross from the right, and he arrives late. He does everything right. So close.
A dramatic end to the half. Hreiderson so close. Collins John with a splendid effort to give Fulham the lead, and that was after Dennis Romadal had hit the post after a magnificent build-up by Charlton. It's been a rattlingly good entertainment here in the first half, and at half-time a rather surprising scoreline if you look at the Premiership table. It's Charlton Athletic 0, Fulham 1.
Yeah, blisteringly good game. Chances at either end. The views of the West Ham manager Alan Pardew in a couple of minutes. I can't remember my 20th birthday. Well, it was a couple of years ago. But he'll remember his for a long time. 2 reasons of celebration for Collins John and how he celebrated. Football coming up for you on Sky Sports. Blackburn Rovers against Birmingham from the Premiership is live at noon on Sky Sports 1 this coming Saturday. Things don't get any easier for David Moyes, do they? Chelsea, the visitors to Goodison on Sunday. That's on 1 from 3 o'clock. Charlton back on TV this coming Saturday. They've got a Fratton Park. It's live on Prem Plus from 5 o'clock, and on Sunday, a North East derby. Newcastle United against Sunderland, 1 o'clock. Prem Plus. 08705 160 160 is the number to ring for both of those games for ordering information. Here at the Valley, it's Charlton 0, Fulham 1 at half-time. Alan Pardew's been watching it with me, and nobody can complain about lack of entertainment this evening, Alan.
It's been a cracking game. You know, the chances either end. The ball's been in play a lot. You know, sometimes come to derbies and the ball's out of play and there's fouls and stuff, but there's been a good flow to the game. I've been particularly impressed with Charlton. I think their movement's been terrific. And I think Kurz will be really disappointed he's losing the game.
You mentioned there weren't too many free kicks, and there weren't. But one free kick actually led to the goal that we saw in the first one. No doubts that this was a free kick, was there?
No, I think it's hard on slow motion because he's just played a 1-2 there, and he's stopped it being completed. This is the clever part, of course. Klaus, who's got a bright mind, sees that Mount Blanc, clever movement, he's in, he pulls it back. And there, you know, he's maximised his chance of scoring because he's got a big surface on the ball. You know, he side-footed that and felt it round. You know, my feelings when it first went in was that the keeper perhaps could have been slightly over to his near post and may have got closer to it. It hasn't really gone in with maximum pace. But he's given himself a great chance of scoring by the contact, and he's obviously pleased on his birthday. He's gone to see his mates, and it's happy days. And, you know, the first goal in the Premiership, of course, is essential, and I felt that Fulham come into it a little bit after that. They perhaps could have got a second, and you know, had a couple of other chances.
Went very, very close indeed, didn't he? Having come on as a substitute for
ironically, in exactly the same place, the free kick. It's a different. It goes all the way across. He gets a great strike with his left foot. and it's always going away from the goal, unfortunately, for Chris Coleman and Fulham, and maybe for the keeper there to give him to boost him again. I think he may have got a touch on that, so repay some dues there.
Well, Chris Coleman will be delighted to be in front at half-time, but he may have one or two concerns about one or two defensive issues. For instance, Nicholas Jensen's being given a torrid time by Dennis Rommedahl.
Well, Murphy's likes this side. This is the first time I've seen Charlton. He's got a lot of time on the ball, and that movement's terrific. In behind him, and really he's fooled the Fulham defence, and he looks disappointed by holding his head, but in all honesty, he's dead pleased with that left foot strike, and he's done everything right, and that deserves to be a goal, in all honesty. It was clever stuff, and you know, that would have put a different reflection on it.
Yeah, that was very early on, and Charlton have created chances right throughout the first 45 minutes, including right at the death of that first half when Herman Hreiderson went so close to levelling.
Yeah, but you know, psychologically this was a good thing. They haven't scored, he slides in, it drags the post, the referee blows, and Charlton go in on a big positive. You know, we're still at it, we're making chances. Look at the one at the end, it gives Curb something to build on, and psychologically I thought that was a good ending for Charlton, but they finished with a good chance. Second half, long way to play, we're playing well, keep doing the same stuff, and we get something out of it.
Let's hope it's as entertaining as the first 45 minutes. Those Charlton fans, well, they've had plenty to shout about, but no goals so far. Fulham have edged the first half by 1-0. Another Champions League week, of course, this week. Tomorrow on Sky Sports, 6 live matches, including Bayern Munich against Juventus, 2 of the giants of the competition, on Sky Sports 2 from 7. You can see Panathinaikos against Barcelona on Sky Sports Extra from 7:30, plus 4 other matches on Extra. And on Wednesday, a huge Wednesday ahead, especially for Liverpool and Chelsea. Liverpool travel to Anderlecht, Sky Sports 2 at 6. Chelsea against Real Betis, Sky Sports Extra at 7:30, plus all the other games available on Sky Sports Extra. Alan Pardew's been watching that first 45 minutes with me. I know he thinks Alan Kirbishley won't be too displeased at half-time. How will he feel Danny Murphy's performed?
Well, I think Danny Murphy's been terrific first half. He's come into that pocket just behind the front, and especially on this right side. And you know, you can see he's on top of his game. You know, he's got a confidence and an aura about him at the moment. And you know, he's made a few errors in his passing, but most of it has been creative, looking for things to happen. And you know, all their best stuff really has come for him. And I think Chris will probably ask one of his central midfield players now to get a little bit tighter, restrict him. Certainly that's what I would do in the second half. This was a good effort, and that nearly creeps in.
Well, he certainly orchestrated things as far as the home side are concerned. Once again in front of Sven-Göran Eriksson's assistant Tord Grip, who will doubtless go back with glowing reports of Danny Murphy. But the first half has belonged to Fulham. They lead by 1-0. Let's rejoin Alan Smith and Ian Darke for the second half.
Well, this is Charlton's centenary year, of course. They've had a movie made of their history. They're certainly hoping there'll be a twist in the plot here in the second half against Fulham, who, a bit like Sir Bob Geldof and the Boomtown Rats, don't like Mondays. They've never, ever won on a Monday before this in 7 attempts. So, well, there's always a first time. Good game so far, too. Charlton 0, Fulham 1 in this London derby. And Charlton getting us underway at the start of the second half, attacking the end of the ground where they had the Jimmy Seed stand, named after the Charlton manager who won the only major honour in the club's history, the 1947 FA Cup.
It was interesting actually that Charlton came out a good 2 minutes or so before Fulham. I don't think actually Alan Kirbishley would have had too much to say to them. They've done everything, or nearly everything right going forward, and created those chances. Perhaps he would have said, well, let's just tighten up a bit at the back. A couple of crosses, free kicks that they weren't able to clear as well as they would expect going forward. It's just same again, boys, I would have thought was the message.
Klaus Jensen is the first subject of the second half player cam. Fulham's dynamic midfield player, playing of course against his old club. Just to remind you again, in case you hadn't already got that point, here is Jerome Thomas. Now Chris Powell. Powell again. Now Smertin. Kishishev. Romadal having to play around Fulham at the moment, and then it's broken up well by Radzinski, who's got the pace to break fast. He's only got Collins John up there with him. Finds him too, but John couldn't control it. Was a bit behind him, to be fair. Malbrook quickly in on Danny Murphy. But the former Liverpool man does emerge with the ball eventually. Now then, here's Romadal with his Olympic speed. Powell. Can he find the right kind of cross? Oh, it's Murphy here! Equaliser! Danny Murphy! And Charlton are level within 2 minutes and 5 seconds of the start of the second half.
Well, I think you have to say from Fulham's point of view, this was so unnecessary because they should have cleared this ball as it comes in. The man got there, it was a bit of a hash, but, well, that's an absolutely immaculate strike from Danny Murphy. We know technically he's 100% and didn't panic, kept his head, kept his shape. So soon into the second half, just what Charlton needed. So many chances in the first half, and they've taken the first one that came their way after the break.
Charlton biting back immediately, and that puts a different complexion on things. Fulham probably didn't want that first half to end. They were playing pretty well, but did they just come out a little lethargic? Chris Coleman.
Well, you can imagine what he's thinking, can't you? I'm sure those were his last words coming out of the dressing room. Look, lads, we're a goal up. We've been up before this season and we've let it slip. For goodness sake, don't give them any encouragement, especially first 15 or so. Well, it's only took 3 minutes, 2 minutes, hasn't it? That goal to come and that encouragement to come.
See that so often, don't you, too? Jerome Thomas. This going to lift Charlton, who will feel now that they can go on and take all 3 points, I'm sure. The momentum currently with them. Romadal drifting away from the wing now, but has given this one away. Again, Radzinski looking to lead a counter break. There's always a question of whether Fulham had the self-belief and confidence and wherewithal to go on and close the show. Thomas, meanwhile, charged down by Volts, appeals only from the crowd for handball. Thomas now for Charlton. I do sense this is a club with a extra layer of self-belief than they perhaps had a season or two back. Powell. There's such a big squad as well, Alan. There's a story that Luke Young was telling in an interview with one of the papers that they got on the coach for an away game and Alan Kirbishley wanted to take everyone on the trip and there weren't enough seats on the coach to take them all. I think it was up to Birmingham.
I think that's a measure of it, and the 11 players that do get on the pitch, the fact that there's another 5 or 6 quality ones looking on, that makes a difference to the performances. And Matty Holland now is back, but last season he would have walked into that midfield. He can't get a sniff at the moment.
Good ball this for Klaus Jensen. Deftly done off the outside of his foot, Boa Morte, but even Romadal tracking back in a central midfield area for the moment there.
Well, he stayed over on this flank. He's been over here for a couple of minutes now. Jerome Thomas over on the right-hand side.
Boa Morte feeds it through to John. Malbronk joining in on this side.
That's maybe worth a crack from Steve Malbronk. He's in playing with a lot of confidence. Didn't get that one quite right. It's a test for them now, Fulham. To go and a goal up, a test to their character and confidence. Can they respond and come back?
But again, they've failed to keep a clean sheet away from home. Having let in 2 at Blackburn, 4 at Highbury, 1 against Newcastle and 1 at Spurs. Haridason towards Thomas Volz, quickly in. Good play by Moritz Volz, but then he's just given it to Chris Perry instead of Collins. John, who was waiting for it.
That's probably the one area that Charlton would want to get a little bit more out of. The left flank through Jerome Thomas, who's had such a great season so far. Moritz Volz there, just on the ball clearing it, has done well against him. Stayed very tight.
Chris Powell is 36 now. Tribute to his fitness and conditioning that he's holding down that left back role. Alan Kerbishley glad to have him back. Here's Romadal. Good vision. Luke Young. It was in towards Bent, and Goma smuggled it away for Fulham. This is a difficult phase for Fulham. They've been jolted by that equaliser, and it's important they get through these next 10 minutes or so without conceding another.
Just got to keep the discipline, and it was Luke Young that made the overlap. Got to make sure that they go with the runners. This spell, and they're bound to be put under pressure.
Bocanegra. Booming header from Haridason, and a nice piece of control too by Bouba Diop. Bouba Diop again. Here's Alexei Smertin. And Thomas has overrun that one.
That's a shame. He was trying to be positive with it, get his first touch out of his feet, and his second was going to be a cross.
Haridason makes a bit of a present of it for Boa Morte. And Klaus Jensen in some space here, just forced a little wider than he perhaps would have wanted. And trying to work that back on his right foot to curl one for the far corner, but Charlton knew about that.
Yeah, you could see exactly what he had in mind, couldn't you? Just get half a yard and let one go. He just escaped Smertin's attention as he's running off the back of him.
Here's the Fulham corner. Volz picks it up. Boa Morte was caught late by Murphy.
It's good to see the ref just award a free kick and get on with it. Danny Murphy had committed him to the foul, but Lewis Boa Morte didn't make a fuss, got straight back up.
Sven isn't here tonight, but I think Tord Grip, his assistant, is here, and he'll have seen that Danny Murphy reminder as well with the goal. But here's Klaus Jensen towards the back post and over the bar by Papa. Bouba Diop couldn't keep it down.
And I think he's given the free kick actually for the arm in the back of Haridason. It was a little shove. Impossible to stop Bouba Diop when he gets a run at it, but a little nudge in the back, foul. He's given the goal kick, but there was an understanding between Mike Riley and Haridason. Yeah, if it had gone in, I would have awarded the free kick. Don't worry about that.
A brave man who had an argument with Papa Bouba Diop, wouldn't it? Well, it's been 32 games since Charlton have won when the opposition scored first. We have that scenario tonight. Fulham getting the first goal, while Charlton have come back. Are they going to go on and take all 3 points? Murphy. Jensen's ball. There's a hint of a hand there. The referee had a good look, good view, said no. Now Fulham get a free kick. Lovely ball from Malbranck off the outside of his foot to Volz. Super movement there from Fulham, and Volz pushing forward and working well with Malbranck down that side at every opportunity.
Well, Jerome Thomas's opponent didn't give it up, he went with him.
No free kick as Malbronk went to the turf and looked hopefully at the referee, who was not remotely interested, and quite rightly. And this time Gomez clattered into the back of Smertin. Luke Young down the line for Darren Bent. Interestingly poised, isn't it, Alan, this one?
Well, it is. I think Fulham just making sure now that they don't offer any more encouragement, just trying to settle it down and regain their feet again. They've done a decent job of that last 5 minutes or so.
Chris Perry for Charlton. Played his entire career in the Premiership, Chris Perry, and is in the top 20 of all-time Premiership appearance makers. There's the energetic Smertin, who won't be going to the World Cup because Russia didn't make it last week, and Kushyshev just missing out there. How costly might this be? Here's Radzinski, and Kushyshev it is who wins it back. Now here goes Romadal. 10.2 seconds for 100 metres at some point in the past, we're told. And his mum and dad were athletes. He's gone to ground there. It's getting a bit fractious over on that far side.
And Mike Riley's giving this game a little bit room to breathe, isn't he? Let him play run on.
Luke Young just forced a little wide. He does cut it back. It was aimed towards Bent, and Goma is content to give away the corner.
That's a beauty, that cross really was, running towards the touchline. Luke Young didn't seem to have any chance of actually getting into that kind of area, and I think almost Darren Bent was a little bit surprised.
He looked like he didn't think he was going to get it back to him, didn't he? It was a good cross by Luke Young, who of course is one of the most improved players in the Premiership. He was Charlton's Player of the Year last season.
Substitution for those show your appreciation to number 14, Jerome Simmons.
Jerome Thomas is coming off, and Jay Bothroyd will be introduced here. He scored a hat-trick in a friendly last Wednesday against Exeter when Charlton filled in a bit of time between matches. They won that 4-1. Bothroyd obviously a bit hot. He's earned his place on the bench here, the 23-year-old. Another former Arsenal youngster. And he comes on for this Charlton corner taken by Murphy. It was nearly Bothroyd who won it as well, not quite. Kushyshev. Bocanegra gets it away. Now Volts. And towards Malbrank. There's just a little bit too much pace on the ball for him to really take it on in the way he would have wanted.
Well, Alan Kirbishley has stuck with the system, not surprisingly, 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it, with Bothroyd through the middle now, and Darren Bent's gone over onto that right-hand side. Romadal on the left. No reason to change it, it's been working, that three-pronged attack.
There's Malbronk again, who has a great turning circle, if I can put it that way. Player cam switching now to Dennis Romadal, who's already hit the post tonight, the jet-heeled Danish winger. A 1-1 draw, by the way, would take Fulham out of the bottom three and put Birmingham in the bottom three, in the drop zone. Marbrook looking to work the 1-2, but Chris Parr was wise to it all. Oh, that's a sloppy ball from Hariderson. This has fallen for Collins John. Now Steve Malbronk. And Perry with some very good rescue work. Boa Morte, ball being given away with some abandon by both sides just at the moment. Malbronk. Bothroyd. Held it out well. Kishishev looking for a diagonal ball in towards Bent, who nearly got the other side of Jensen, then he did.
Oh, it's a pearl of a ball from Kishishev, right onto Darren Bent's toe.
Bouba Diop across to Alain Gomer. He's a bit short of matches, Gomer, at the moment, who will need the outings. Fitness is one thing, match fitness another, as managers are fond of telling us. Smertin was just caught there by Klaus Jensen. Nicholas Jensen to Klaus. Danish internationals, both of them. Seem to be a lot of them around tonight. Now Bothroyd battling away well. The fresher legs as well. Bothroyd, that was a good running shot from him.
There's nothing wrong with that, was there? On his left foot, thought about spreading it out wide to Dennis Ramadal. He's got really good feet though, Jay Bothroyd. I think he always wanted to have a shot, had a little glance, but the chance was on.
His only Premiership goal has come in his time at Blackburn. That was against Liverpool, who, by the way, are Fulham's opponents at Craven Cottage on Saturday. Charlton are at Portsmouth, and Alexei Smertin, who's on the ball now, will be playing against his old club down there. Oh, Murphy, what a good idea. He saw Young's run. It was nearly a peach of a ball.
Well, Luke Young now, this second half, he's making a couple more of those overlaps, which he didn't really before the break, and well, that's just a yard out, isn't it? It's a really difficult one because it has to be spot on, because it's so straight, not far off at all.
Again, he seems to have been just everywhere tonight, Danny Murphy.
I think the one thing he has done is improve his fitness at Charlton compared to last year. He said that the other day.
Bothroyd's dummy. Fulham weren't buying. Each of these two sides has got that bit of something extra to go on and turn 1 point into 3 here.
Well, if you're a gambling man, you'd say it was Charlton at the moment, wouldn't you? They're the team with all the ideas going forward.
Here's Young. Fulham battling away well, but Charlton have it again. Bouba Diop, who has also been a workaholic in midfield tonight in Fulham's cause as they chase something from this game. That's offside against Jay Bothroyd.
Well, the team going for the win, aren't they? It's just half a yard, I think. Just wonder if you'd have asked Fulham before the match, would they have taken a point, 1-1 draw? You have to think they might have after losing 3 on the trot.
Chris Coleman in his 3rd season in charge, and The Fulham fans who might think it's time for him to go, and bookies as well, should remember that Fulham were 9th under him a couple of seasons back, and he kept them well clear of trouble in the end last season too. And they've battled well for their manager tonight too, and with no little skill as well. Boa-Morte, not quite at his electric best tonight, Boa-Morte perhaps. Jensen. Free kick. Kishishev doesn't like that. It's a handy place to have one for Fulham.
Well, I didn't look too much in this, I have to say, between the two, and I don't think there was. Maybe Jensen slightly off balance, that's why he goes down. I think Kishishev did too much wrong there.
Now, what's this going to be? A boomer from Papa Bouba Diop.
He's lining up for it, isn't he? Put his boot through this one. It's going to have to be a brave walk.
I mean, he can hit them at the speed of sound, this guy. And he's taking a almost Steve Harmison-like run-up at it as well. You wouldn't want to be in the wall, but it's Klaus Jensen, in fact, who hits it in the end, rather tamely, into the wall. He's got it again here, Klaus Jensen. Radzinski. And it was Murphy who got it away. Foul on Bothroyd. And the referee's going to book Moritz Volz for that. I must have looked innocuous enough, but I think it was a case of previous, Alan, wasn't it?
Well, maybe. I think he thought that Moritz Volz knew that Bothroyd was getting away, and he just, well, broke the move down, but I thought Bothroyd had just done enough and did all he wanted to do, just to keep the ball.
Jensen again. Radzinski, good run, good ball in too. And if Collins John had continued with his run, maybe there would have been a payoff as well.
Well, he attacked with such pace, Radzinski, and you can't complain about that ball, but Collins John just couldn't make up the ground.
Champions League action coming up, cracking week of course. 2 nights on Wednesday we're going to feature Anderlecht against Liverpool from 6 o'clock on Sky Sports 2, and on Sky Sports Extra it'll be Chelsea against Real Betis. 1-1 here in this London derby between Charlton and Fulham, and no shortage of incident so far either. Boa-Morte. Might be 1 or 2 tired limbs as this goes on, because some of these players won't have played for over 2 weeks now. Others will have had long journeys, although they've had that little bit of extra time to get over those journeys compared to the players who had to perform at the weekend.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's one of those occasions where you're thankful that it's on a Monday night. The whole weekend to get back together and work on things as a team.
Malbronk. And John thought he was being held back by Perry, by the jersey, and continues his protest loud and long.
Well, I think he was actually, Chris Perry. He got a good chunk of Collins John's shirt.
It's a good battle that between Perry and John tonight, but John of course has got his name on the score sheet with a very, very well taken goal on the volley. .20 minutes remaining here at the Valley. Knocked on and then hacked away by Goma. Powell and Malbronk just tussling. Referee wants the ball taken back. Charlton want to get on with it.
Took it from the right position.
Murphy again. Bothroyd held it up, Smirton trying to get on the end of it, but Boa Morte is sitting pretty deep. And now Fulham on the break with John to Klaus Jensen. Radzinski's arriving as well. Nicholas Jensen into Luis Boa Morte. Here's the Fulham skipper. Wants a free kick on the edge, doesn't get it. Comes out to Volts here. And the keeper always had it covered.
Well, I think after that counter-attack, Charlton will just be pleased that they limited Fulham to a shot from distance. They got a lot of red shirts back quickly. Never in danger, this one.
Bothroyd harping it on. Romadal. Now Darren Bent. It's not really away here. Might fall for Bothroyd in there in the end. They're glad to see Mark Crossley grab that. Still going strongly, Fulham goalkeeper. Remember him saving a Gary Lineker penalty in the 1991 FA Cup final years ago for Nottingham Forest.
I remember playing against him. That's how old he is. He's knocking on the boy.
Still in good nick though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Charlton get a free kick. Can they go on to get the win that would take them back into second place as Chelsea's closest pursuers, 4 teams, overtook them at the weekend? Murphy, Perry's in there! Flag stayed down as well.
Well, do you remember the free kick in the first half when you get totally free, although he was offside? He wasn't offside that time. He's stretching. It's a difficult one for Chris Perry. He's done plenty of clearances defensively with his head. He had long enough to see it coming, and maybe if that was a striker, he'd have done a better job of it.
Well, he did score this season at Middlesbrough when Charlton were quite superb in a 3-0 win up there at the Riverside. Luke Young to hack it away into the crowd. A crowd, by the way, of 26,310 tonight. This ground in the past, unofficially, once held 79,000 for a game against Arsenal back in the 1930s. And it used to have this huge east stand that seemed to go up to the sky and held thousands.
I played here when it was like that. Alan Simonson was playing for Charlton. He scored a hat-trick against us when I was playing for Leicester. Certainly didn't look like it does now. It's a magnificent arena. Full every week as well. It's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and Charlton were the club, of course, who nearly died, weren't they? They were an hour away from closing down in the 1980s. It's quite remarkable, really, what they've managed to do at this superbly run club in southeast London. Who knows, they might even make it to the Champions League if they carry on the way they've started this season. They've never played European football as yet. Might have done it last season, but for that late fade out. Probably fed up with people talking about that.
Well, what they have got this year, of course, to try and avoid that is a bigger squad if he can keep it together. People like Al Kakuri who can come on, do a great job.
Off comes Kishishev and Talal Al-Kakori, who played against Spurs in the last game. The Moroccan, another who's gone out of the World Cup since his last Charlton game. It's Tunisia who qualified at Morocco's expense. He's on into the central defensive area where he normally plays. Well, I guess that's going to play there, or is he? No, maybe you play the holding role in midfield, will he? Let's see.
I think he will. I'd be surprised to see him disrupt that Haraderson-Chris Perry partnership in central defence. Just going to sit in front of them, Al Kakori.
Brian McBride's going to come off soon. Come on soon for Fulham. Boa Morte caught there by Al Kakori with his first involvement, and tempers beginning to rise a little as a result of that.
Well, there's no doubt at all that Al Kakori was going for the ball. His eyes were firmly fixed on it. It was a split second, mistimed. Boa Morte flicked it away.
It is yellow.
The right decision. It's a dangerous challenge. The studs are up, but I don't think there was any real malicious intent in that.
He's only been on the pitch for about 50 seconds. Talal Al Kakori, his first involvement is a yellow card. But it wasn't a high and horrible challenge like, well, Michael Essien's one at the weekend, for which he's likely to face repercussions. Collins John, who looks to be suffering a little, comes off, and on comes the American striker Brian McBride, who's already hit 4 goals this season. The Americans rested him for the recent internationals because they'd already qualified for the World Cup, but he's pretty sure to be Germany bound.
It's a really difficult role, that one up front on your own, and Collins John feeling the pace a little bit.
And McBride, the subject of player cam for our digital viewers. Well, I'm sure Fulham will be taking the view now that they're within sight of what would be a useful point for them. Charlton haven't created too much more since Murphy's goal, maybe encouragingly for Fulham, but there is time. Perry into the mixer. A lot of pushing and shoving going on in there, and Mike Riley was wise to it all.
There's plenty going on in there, isn't there? But after looking fairly wobbly in the first half defensively, remember Charlton having plenty of opportunities up the right-hand side. They've got it together a little bit after the break. Fulham tightened up defensively as a unit.
Bouba Diop offside here against Radzinski.
I think we're going to get a grandstand finish here. Charlton desperate for the 3 points, crowd urging them on.
Smertin. Charlton, who had to suffer the agony of winning 2-0 and then losing 3-2 in their match with Spurs. This time, can they come from behind to win? Here's Luke Young. There's enough players forward in red shirts here. Bent in a bit of space, and so's Romadal, whose finish is on the wasteful side.
Well, he's totally annoyed with himself because he saw this one coming all the way. He gives his teammate Darren Bent a shout. Leave it, it's mine. And he's just a little bit tentative on it. It's not an easy skill. He scuffs it.
He almost had time to bring that down, didn't he, Alan?
He did. I don't think he was wrong in trying a first-time shot. Could have got his direction right, and his contact.
Ryderson. Possibly Brian Hughes is going to come on for Charlton in place of Alexei Smertin. We'll see. Here's Bothroyd.
He's done a good job since he came on. Joe Bothroyd held it up, backed into his man, made a nuisance of himself.
Looking to curl one towards Bent. Fulham have defended pretty resolutely. Here's McBride. Charlton's free kick for Steve Malbronk's challenge. Smertin does come off here. Just a question of a fresher pair of legs, possibly, and Brian Hughes, who nearly always does come on from the bench, the former Wrexham and Birmingham man. He did play against Chelsea from the start when Smertin was ineligible to play against the club who hold his registration. Powell's long ball in. Bothroyd towards Bent. Still Bent. And the goalkeeper, Mark Crossley, doing his job well.
There's a real wrestling match here. Bent and Bothroyd trying to shove the man across, and Bokaneg would be relieved that Bent wasn't able to latch onto his little flick around the defender's body.
This could be a tense finish for both sides here. Charlton will not be satisfied with a point. Their home form's been, well, comparatively disappointing. Herman Hreiderson. Powell missing out. Here's McBride. Fulham still retaining some attacking ambition when they get the chance. Volts. Malbronk into the danger area. Not really away. McBride on the turn. And out to Papa Bouba Diop. A lot of velocity. Not a lot of accuracy.
Well, that was Fulham's best moment, wasn't it? Probably of the second half. This ball, when he ricocheted, it could easily have flicked out to Rudzinski on the right-hand side there. A long way out, Bouba Diop.
Well, I remember that thumping goal he scored against Manchester United last season. A few clubs looking at him. Big, tall, imposing midfield presence. And reportedly, Arsenal and maybe Manchester United among them. You never know quite what to believe of all the transfer stories that circulate. Now, Romadal has rather sold a dummy to Volts there and got away on this left-hand side. It's still Dennis Romadal. And it's not exactly what the Charlton strikers were hoping for.
Well, there were two or three that had really made a dash to support their winger. Does well to turn Moritz Volts, and I think he's done enough here. Just help it into the box. Doesn't get his feet sorted out. There's something that happened a lot last season, but I think he's added an end product to his game a lot more this term. Dennis Romadal, he's got so much pace to burn, and important that he does have an end product when he gets into that final third.
He's had a good season so far, Romadal, including a cracking goal up at Middlesbrough. Charlton have given the ball away there, and here's Rudzinski curling it in, and it's chested away by Hreiderson, and just a bit sloppy there, Charlton, in the way they did that, but now they can break. Bothroyd. Romadal again looking for that diagonal ball, but Fulham have defended that pretty well in the main in this second half.
Well, you can see Charlton are anxious to get on and win this match, get the second goal. El Kakuri in trying to do that, keep the tempo going. It was a little bit of a loose ball out to Luke Young, putting them into trouble.
Fulham are 5 minutes away from the point that would lift them up a place out of the bottom three and relegate Birmingham into that zone. Still too early maybe to take too much notice of the table, but it is beginning to take shape. Well, that's off the heel of Bent. Didn't know much about it. Now Hughes, hinted handball there by Hughes. Meanwhile, Bothroyd has been left in a heap.
He got caught late by Steve Malbronk. He laid the ball off. No complaints. Although they had cause to complain. Wasn't much there, wasn't there, in the end, was there? Too much contact.
A yellow card for the man who scored a hat-trick against Charlton in an FA Cup tie a couple of seasons back. It's off Bouba Diop's head for a Charlton corner. Here's an anxious moment coming up for Fulham and their band of supporters behind that goal. Murphy swings it in. It was aimed towards Haraidis, but Boa Morte getting his head to it. He's done even more defensive work in this second half, Boa Morte, than in any attacking sense, and that's just a sign of the commitment Fulham have taken to the job of holding on to a point here.
Well, there are nights when you have got to do that. Everybody's got to chip in for the cause. They've at least got something to defend a point. Not 3 like in the first half, but it's something nonetheless.
Young. And his weaker left foot. It did show Alcacore. Here's the Moroccan again. Charlton fans booing. They want the ball pumped forward at this late stage. Well, Alan Kirbishley trying to sort out the home form. Away from home, they've not put a foot wrong so far.
I don't think there's been too much wrong with the form. Maybe the result tonight isn't what they would have wished for, but they've been really nice and lively, bright, going forward. Can't complain about that side of the game.
Murphy towards Bothroyd. Hughes. Haraidison! And it drifts over the angle of posts and bar, and Fulham breathe again. But was there a Fulham deflection on that on the way through? Mike Riley says yes. Fulham protest, but the corner is given. How big a decision might this prove?
Well, I think it comes off Bouba Diop, and I think he may have a case, Mike Riley, for giving a corner there. It's like a big man studs.
Looked spot on, didn't it? Where it ballooned up. Was a corner, is a corner. Here it is. Murphy takes it back. Romano!
Oh, it's a decent little set piece, isn't it? Rehearsed from the training ground. Never got over it.
Alan Kirbishley and Mervyn Day and Keith Peacock there. Probably resigned to the fact that it might only be 1 point. Chris Coleman, a half smile. They're almost there, but not quite. And how much time will be added on, I wonder. We think it's going to be 3 minutes. We await confirmation of that fact. Alcacore. Difficult bounce for Powell. And Charlton getting themselves in a bit of a mess here and making a bit of a meal of this. And now it's come out to Bouba Diop. Klaus Janssen's ball is intercepted. Romedal might be the only player in the country who'd have the pace to get to that, but Volz was quick enough himself.
Officials indicated a minimum of 3 minutes additional time to be played.
Well, it's been a cracking game, hasn't it? Both sides going at it. Hammer and tongs for the most part. Played in a good spirit. It's been allowed to flow.
Malbronk breaking into space. Powell got a foot into it. That was an important little knockback that by Redzinski. Now Boa Morte not getting too much change from Luke Young. Papa Bouba Diop. Malbronk. McBride couldn't get his shot away. Nice little build-up, though, from Fulham. people looked at Fulham this season and saw that they'd sold Edwin van der Sar and Andy Cole, wondered if they were going to be relegation fodder. They are down there, but they have kept hold of Bouba Diop and Steve Malbranc and Luis Boa-Morte, and they've suggested tonight they might have enough about them to stay in business in this division. Malbranc, oh, that's a good-looking ball in, and on the volley, and wide by Boa-Morte. It was a fair old chance, and Chris Coleman knows it.
Well, it was a tired Chris Powell that gave this ball away, and it's a bit of a tired effort from Luis Boa-Morte, I have to say. Never got his body shape right, completely slicing it, not been his night in front of goal going forward.
He's only scored once in his last 14 matches, Luis Boa-Morte. That was against West Ham, as our guest Alan Pardew will know. Now then, Hreiderson. Volz does well. Bit of a slice by Crossley, but it does the job. We're well into the added time. There won't be too much more of it. This might be Charlton's last chance. It's Hughes. He'll swing it in there. Not enough elevation on the cross. Fulham were glad of that. But now Powell picks it up. Everybody back now for Fulham. But Radzinski's clearance might fall here for McBride. Boa-Morte. He's holding on to the ball, and this might ease the clock down. They get a free kick as well, but that will do. Fulham have their point. Charlton foiled at home. Chris Coleman happy enough with that in the end, though his side did lead at half-time. Fulham are out of the bottom three, just on goal difference ahead of Birmingham City. A battling performance, and in the first half a bright one too from Fulham. Charlton, plenty of chances, particularly in the first half. A Danny Murphy equaliser. He continues his excellent run at the start of this season. And we have a final scoreline here of Charlton Athletic 1, Fulham 1.
And the Champions League takes over from the Premiership tomorrow. 6 live matches, including Bayern Munich against Juventus, live on Sky Sports 2 from 7, and Panathinaikos against Barcelona on Sky Sports Extra from 7:30, plus 4 other matches available on Sky Sports Extra. Terrific Wednesday ahead, 8 live matches, including Anderlecht against Liverpool, live on Sky Sports 2 from 6, Chelsea against Real Betis, 7:30 Sky Sports Extra, plus 6 other matches, including the Rangers game against Art Media, all live on Sky Sports Extra. We'll have the views of the West Ham manager Alan Pardew when we come back in a couple of minutes. So Chris Coleman spends half-time telling his side to keep it tight. 2 minutes later they concede. Murphy's Law, I think it's called. The table looks a fraction better for Fulham supporters right now, because they've moved out of the relegation places by virtue of the fact they've scored more goals than Birmingham, up to 17th. And here's the top, Charlton just edging up a place to 5th on 16 points. So they do have a game in hand on 3 of the 4 sides above them. Danny Murphy got the Charlton goal. He's not in the England team. Luke Young is. They're both talking with Fraser Robertson.
Danny, your reaction to taking a point?
Well, better than losing the game, of course. I thought first half we played quite well, actually. We made the better chances and we were really disappointed going into the break 1-0 down. Second half was a little bit scrappy. Credit to Fulham. They battled well, they matched us in midfield. It's a scrappy second half, really. Not the best game to watch, I'm sure, but we'll take a point because we didn't play as well as we have been, and sometimes when you don't play well, you've got to make sure you put a point at least on the board.
Plenty of chances for both sides. Why was it so open, especially in the first half?
Well, I think because they matched us formation-wise, which meant it was going to be an end-to-end game. We obviously wanted to win, and then we know they were desperate for points, so there was no negativity in the first half. I think as the game went on in the second half, maybe we both became a bit fearful of losing the game, and in the end, we probably both happy with a point, but not good enough from our second half. The way we've been playing has been better than that.
Look, 4 wins out of 4 away from home, but just 1 win out of 4 at home. Is it too early to be concerned about the home form?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're most disappointed, really, with the goal that we conceded, really. We've turned our backs on it, and they've done it quick, and it's a great finish, but we need to be more alive on the set plays.
Great goal from Danny to give you the point. He's man of the match here today. Is it time he's in the England squad alongside you?
He can do no more. He's been brilliant for us all season, and I think when it drops in the box for us, it couldn't have fallen for anyone better than Danny at the moment, and he put it away and created a lot of chances for us. He's playing really well.
Danny, your performance tonight earns you the Barclays man of the match. Well played.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Well, clearly a little disappointed that they've only come away with a point. Alan Pardew, the West Ham manager, watched it with me, and I would think everybody in the Charlton camp, once Danny Murphy had equalised so early in the second half, would have expected them to have gone on and won this.
Yeah, I mean, the chance falls for him and he tucks it away, and then, you know, got so much time to win the game. They lost a little bit of their rhythm, which was a shame for Charlton, because they had played so well. And after the goal, really, they didn't have that same impact on the game. Fulham tightened up a wee bit, and the homework they'd done at half-time, conceded the goal quickly, but they'd done a bit more homework on how to stop them, and that obviously worked for Chris and the team, and really it become more of a scrappy affair in the second half. And I think Danny kind of summed it up there. You know, in the first half, to come in 1-0 down after playing so well would have been extremely disappointing.
Well, despite that, Danny Murphy was man of the match. I mean, plenty of his skills on show here this evening.
Yeah, he had a terrific game, and you know, his flair and his vision are a feature of what he's about. You know, that's a slide rule pass, perfect, and on another day that goes in. This is him, and he did seem to have a lot of time in the first half. He just plunks that through, and really, Darren will be disappointed in that. Another slide pass, but you know, I felt he had a wee bit too much time in the first half, Danny, and if you give him that sort of time, in the form he's in at the minute, he's going to cause you trouble. This was outstanding, and you know, he's got that ability to put it exactly where you want it as a striker. People can make runs and bend runs because you know he's going to deliver. This is the goal. It's a decent ball from Chris, you know, and it falls to the best technician on the pitch, and that's as true as they're going to come. And you know, I'm sure Danny in shooting practice would hit a few like that. You know, he's got that sort of technique.
It's his fourth Premiership goal of the season. He only got 3 in the whole of last season, so he's stepped up in terms of goal scoring. It begs the question, though, if you stop Danny Murphy, or if he has an off day, do you stop Charlton?
Well, no, you know, Darren and the 2 wide players, their movement tonight was a feature of Charlton's play. The back 4 is solid. Kisichev in front was terrific, I thought, tonight. And I thought they got, it's the first time I've seen them, and I thought they was terrific all round the pitch today. Danny is the catalyst, and he's going to make things happen, and he's going to get marked now and again, and man-marked, I'm sure. And I think they're going to see a lot of teams coming here and matching them up. I played that system a year at Reading, and the home games were a problem because, you know, they're going to come and match you up, and you've only got one striker, and you're looking for a tempo, and you're looking for an early goal, and it's difficult at home, and Curbs will know that, and as I say, tonight they struggled second half to break them down.
Let's take a look at the Fulham goal that put them in front. Collins John, 20 today. He's still a bit raw around the edges, is he? And I don't suppose he's scored many as good as this.
Well, as I say, we talked about that early ball, and this is a great technique. He's just kept his eye on that, and he's felt that in. And as I said, he's given himself maximum chance of scoring just by the contact area he's got on it. He's got a large contact area. Thanks very much, and that'd be one he'd be putting in his collection, I'm sure.
I mean, from your perspective this evening, Alan, did Fulham look like a relegation side to you?
No. The Premiership teams are all very close, and certainly below the top 5, not the top 5 at the moment, by the way, below the top 5, we're all very similar, and you know, I thought they played some good stuff tonight, Fulham. I thought Charlton edged the game in terms of the creativity and their blend, but Fulham showed some good stuff. I thought defensively there was times that they could have perhaps done better, but other than that, I thought they done well.
OK, let's see if Chris Coleman agrees. Here he is with Fraser.
Chris, satisfied with a point?
No, not really. I think we won the lap. I told the guys at half-time, you know, I said, don't be Fulhamish and come out and start slow. Exactly what we did. And we can see the silly goal. And I was disappointed with that. I think we've dropped 2 points there. Charlton, the second or third in the league, they're a quality team. But, you know, I thought in the first half we were the better team. You know, they hit the post, but we had our chances. And I thought we were livelier tonight. So I'm a bit disappointed that we've dropped 2 points. I know that sounds strange coming to a team as good as Charlton and as well as they're doing, but I thought, once we're 1-0 up, I said we score the next goal, it's finished. First 5 minutes were sloppy. To be fair, after that we came back into it again, and we hit them once or twice and behind the counter. And the longer it was going on, I thought they were getting a little bit frustrated. Could hear the crowd's frustration. But before the game, obviously, we're going to take 1-1 because they're a quality team, Charlton, and they're playing with a lot of confidence.
You're out the bottom 3 in goal difference. Psychologically, how important is that?
Massive. It's the first time we've been in the bottom 3 since I've been in charge, and it's the worst feeling, honestly. I can understand other managers now who have been in the bottom 3, and it kind of makes you stronger, if you like, because I've not experienced that before. And it's not somewhere I want us to be, of course, and the only way to get away from that is to get results. And we started tonight with 1, and that's broken the sequence of 3 defeats. Now, the 3 games we've lost, we didn't deserve to lose 3 games, and I'm very careful when I say that, because I know I don't like making excuses, but we've generally played very well. We played a different formation tonight, but we had a bit of grit about us tonight, and we were more sturdy, if you like, hard at the beat. And of course, with Collins Jones' pace up front, with Mal Bronk, who was outstanding in the first half, Bowen on the left. And I think when we took Philippe Christian Valoff, who was having a fine game, it disrupted us a little bit because we looked solid in there. But he's hurt his hamstring, and that's unfortunate because once he gets games under his belt, he's going to be a fine signing for us.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Well, Chris Coleman thinking they could have taken all 3 points. In fact, there was a chance right at the death when there were a few tired limbs around, in fairness, Alan, including those, I think, of Luis Boamorte.
Yeah, Chris has just dwelt on that. And Mel Blanc, who was a creative force for Fulham all game, he's hit a peach of a pass, and that's a tired kind of strike from Boamorte. He's probably given himself less chance of scoring because he's got a lot of movement in his foot, and he's just cut across the ball there, and disappointing. And Chris's reaction on the sideline, because when you're 1-1 against a team who are going well, there could be half a chance, and it fell, and you might be thinking that's going to be our night, and he smashes it in, but unfortunately he hits it wide.
Middlesbrough this weekend for West Ham, I think, isn't it? I bet you're looking forward to the games at the moment. You can't wait for them, can you?
I'm really looking forward to coming back to Upton Park. It seems an eternity since we last played there, and it's been a great atmosphere at Upton Park. The fans are really with us, and we've got a good feeling. And 2 really tricky away games where we've played perhaps 2 of the hardest working sides in the Premiership in Sunderland and Man City at the moment. 2 very organised teams, and wow, they really worked us. And Middlesbrough will be slightly different. They come with a bit more culture, a bit more finesse, and we'll have to be on our mettle, concentrate.
Alan, best of luck. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Champions League is back this week. Tomorrow, 6 live matches, including Bayern against Juventus on 2, Panathinaikos against Barcelona on Extra, plus 4 other matches live on Extra. And 8 live matches on Wednesday. Anderlecht against Liverpool on 2 from 6. Chelsea against Real Betis on Sky Sports Extra from 7:30, plus all 6 other matches. Bit of relief then for Fulham this evening, out of the relegation zone. Charlton, well, they can't lose away. Just can't win at home, can they? That's it. Good night.
If you think that a kiss is on the lips, come on, you got it all wrong, man. And if you think that our dance was all in the hips, oh well, then do the twist. If you think holding hands is all in the fingers, grab hold of the soul where the memory lingers, and make sure to never do it with them singers, cause they'll tell everyone in the world what he was thinking about the girl. Yeah, what he's thinking about the girl. Oh, the tool where you know there's no stopping it, and the ball where you know she's still rocking it. The ball where you know it's still rocking it, and the tool there you know there's no stopping it. The truth is still hidden, and the soul plays a role of a lost little kitten, but you should know that the doctors weren't kidding. She'd been